She was just the house help until the will was read. For 27 years, Mama Obioma cleaned their floors, washed their secrets, and fed their lies. But when the family matriarch dies, everything changes. Because the biggest secret was sleeping in their servants' quarters all along. The scent of incense hung heavy in the air, mixing with the delicate aroma of hibiscus flowers laid across the pristine white coffin. People moved like shadows beneath the massive canopy tent erected in the Adebanjo compound, their faces hidden behind dark sunglasses, black jeels, and somber expressions. Even the sun, it seemed, dimmed its rays in respect for the passing of Madame Alero Adebanjo, the iron-willed matriarch of one of Lagos's wealthiest families. At the back of the tent, standing just beyond the row of dignitaries and politicians, was Mama Obioma, dressed in a plain black iro and buba, head bowed. To the guests, she was invisible, just the help. The woman who'd served them tea, scrubbed their floors, and raised their children. But to her, this moment was not just grief, it was fear. The casket was slowly lowered into the grave. Sobs rippled through the crowd. The eldest son, Tunde, clutched a handkerchief, eyes dry but jaw clenched. The younger son, Obasi, arrived late and stood awkwardly beside his sister, Yewande, who wiped her cheeks dramatically for the cameras. There was tension between them all, thick and unspoken. Then came the unexpected figure. A tall young man, late 20s, skin the color of deep mahogany, walked in without ceremony. He wore a plain black shirt, simple slacks, and no jewelry. He moved past the crowd and stood directly across from the family, his eyes fixed on the coffin. Yewande narrowed her eyes. "Who is that?" she whispered. Tunda didn't answer, but Mama Obioma turned to stone. Her breath caught. The young man, Ade, lowered his head in respect, and then raised it again. His gaze swept across the family and landed on Mama Obioma. Just for a second. But in that second, something passed between them. Not recognition, not greeting, something deeper. The ceremony ended. The family retreated into the mansion. Guests whispered, gossip dispersed. Mama Obioma walked briskly toward the kitchen entrance. She didn't get far. Aid appeared from behind the garden hedge. "You didn't tell them," he said quietly. Mama Obioma froze. She turned to him slowly. "You shouldn't have come." "I had to. They're not ready, and neither are you." He looked past her to the grand house, its white walls gleaming like bones in the afternoon light. "Too late for that, Mama," he said, "because tomorrow they'll know everything." Mama Obioma trembled. He turned and walked away. And just like that, the funeral marked not just the end of a life, but the beginning of a war. The day after the funeral, the Adebanjo mansion buzzed like a disturbed hive. Black SUVs lined the driveway. Lawyers in stiff suits carried briefcases through the gilded front doors. Maids moved like whispers, avoiding the gazes of the grieving, yet visibly irritated, family members. Tunda sat at the head of the long mahogany dining table, hands steepled, exuding the air of a man born to lead. Yewande scrolled endlessly through her phone, barely hiding her impatience. Obasi stood by the bar, nursing a drink far too early in the day. "Let's get this over with," Yewande muttered. "Mama's gone. There's no point dragging this out." Tunda gave her a look. "Show some respect." Before she could retort, the family's longtime lawyer, Barrister Ifeanyi, entered. He placed a single brown envelope on the table, unsealed it with a dramatic pause, and began. "This is the last will and testament of the late Madame Alero Adebanjo, signed and witnessed on the 15th of June last year." The usual distribution followed. Properties, shares, charity donations, jewelry, heirlooms. Everything was going as expected, until To Ade Obioma Adebanjo, I leave 25% of my personal estate, including full access to the Adebanjo Educational Trust and a seat on the Family Foundation's board. Silence. Obasi turned his head slowly. Who? Yewande shot up. Excuse me, what did you just say? Barrister Ifeanyi cleared his throat. It appears Madame Alero made provisions for an individual named Ade Obioma Adebanjo. There must be a mistake, Tunde said flatly. That name doesn't exist in this family. Obasi frowned. Obioma, as in Mama Obioma. The lawyer pulled out a notarized birth certificate. He passed it across the table. Tunde snatched it, scanned the page, and went pale. Born, Ade Obioma Adebanjo. Mother, Obioma Afolayan. Father, Chief Olufemi Adebanjo. Yewande let out a sound between a scoff and a laugh. This is a joke. Are we seriously supposed to believe that the maid, our maid, had a child with Daddy? Tunde stood up sharply, the chair screeching. This is forgery, fraud. We need to call the police. Call who you like, came a calm voice from the doorway. All heads turned. Aide stood there, just inside the entrance, hands in his pockets. I'm not here to take what isn't mine, he said. I'm here for the truth. Mama Obioma appeared behind him, face pale, tears in her eyes. Tunde marched toward them. Get out of this house, both of you. Aide didn't flinch. He pulled out a document of his own and handed it to Barrister Ifeanyi. DNA results. Barrister Ifeanyi scanned it quickly, then looked up, visibly shaken. It's true. He's Chief Adebanjo's biological son. Yewande stared, mouth open. Obasi slowly sat down, his drink forgotten. For the first time in her life, Mama Obioma spoke in front of them all. I never asked for anything. I was told to stay silent to protect everyone's name. But now, the silence has ended. And with that, the house fell into stunned chaos. Mama Obioma, just 18 years old, was a soft-spoken village girl with wide eyes and a head full of dreams. Her family had sent her to Lagos to work as a house help in the grand mansion of Chief Adebayo, a powerful man with political influence and a reputation for generosity. 1 month after arriving, what started as shy glances and kind gestures between Mama Obioma and Chief Adebayo soon blossomed into something deeper. The chief, drawn to her innocence and warmth, found comfort in Mama Obioma's quiet presence, a stark contrast to his cold and distant wife. Their love was forbidden, and yet they continued to meet in secret, stealing brief but intense moments together. 6 months later, Mama Obioma's world shattered when she discovered she was pregnant. Panic gripped her heart. She feared Madam's wrath and the shame it would bring upon her family. When she told Chief Adebayo, he was visibly shaken. Despite his affection, he chose reputation over love. In the dead of night, he sent her away with a bundle of cash and a trembling promise. I will take care of the boy. He will never lack. But that promise was never kept. Years passed, and Mama Obioma raised her son, Adi, alone, in silence and sorrow. She taught him strength and resilience, never revealing the truth of his father, not even to Adi. Back in the present day, tensions inside the mansion are thick like the Lagos humidity. Aide's arrival feels like a ticking time bomb. Tunde, furious, demands Aide leave immediately, accusing him and Mama Obioma of scheming for the family fortune. You think you can just walk in and claim you belong? You're nothing. Tunde spits, rage burning in his eyes. Yewande, ever calculating, wastes no time. Within a week, she hires a private investigator to dig into Mama Obioma and Ade's past. Trust is a luxury she can't afford, especially with Obasi's silence growing suspicious. Obasi, the peacemaker, feels torn. He remembers Adi from school, remembers the quiet strength he carried. Part of him believes Adi, but siding with him means tearing the family apart. again. Aid isn't here for chaos. He doesn't want the cars, the house, or the inheritance. What he wants is the truth. Why was he abandoned? Why did his mother suffer alone while his half-brothers had everything? Why did his father turn his back on them? Mama Obioma begs him to let go, to walk away before the fire consumes him. But Adi, hardened by years of pain, is no longer the soft-hearted boy she raised. He's here for justice. 2 weeks later, the investigator returns with a bombshell. Chief Adebayo's death wasn't natural. He was poisoned. The rushed autopsy was a cover-up. Suddenly, suspicion swirls in the Adebanjo mansion. Aid starts receiving threats. Anonymous notes slipped under his door. Voicemails with no caller ID. Someone in that house wants him silenced. At the same time, Mama Obioma's health begins to fail. Headaches, nosebleeds, fainting spells. The doctor calls it stress, but Aid fears something more sinister. Is someone trying to finish what they started with the chief? 1 month later, Yewande confronts Mama Obioma with forged documents, a fake letter accusing her of blackmail. She demands Ade drop his claims, or she'll expose them. To tighten the noose, Yewande plants stolen jewelry in Ade's room and calls the police. But her plan doesn't go unnoticed. Obasi, watching quietly, begins piecing together the darker truth behind the family's facade. He starts secretly helping Aid. Within days, while helping Aid, Obasi discovers his late mother's old phone. Hidden in the voice memos is a chilling confession. She killed the chief. She had found out he planned to rewrite his will in Aid's favor, and blinded by rage, she poisoned his tea. But there's more. In the background, a hesitant voice. Tundis. He supplied the poison, thinking it would only scare the chief, not kill him. The family implodes. Hours after the recording surfaces, Tunde tries to destroy it, but Obasi has already made copies. Yewande is exposed for tampering with evidence. The media swarms the scandal. The once respected Adebanjo name now synonymous with betrayal. Within weeks, the siblings are dragged to court. Ade's DNA confirms his paternity. Mama Obioma, poisoned again, is rushed to the hospital. This time, she barely survives. The court orders a full investigation. Sponsors pull out. The family legacy begins to crumble. Months later, with Obasi's help, Ade focuses on saving Mama Obioma. She recovers, though weakened. Yewande is arrested for attempted murder and fraud. Tunde flees the country, wanted by the law. Eddie makes a bold move. He gives up the inheritance. The cars, the mansion, the money. Instead, he claims the Adebanjo Family Foundation and transforms it into a social justice organization to help children and single mothers. He calls it Justice Rising. Weeks after Mama Obioma's recovery, she writes a letter addressed to the chief. She forgives him, their love, their son, and the pain he caused. She closes with, "I raised him well. He's better than us both." Aid reads the letter aloud at her bedside. A soft smile graces Mama Obioma's face as she takes her final breath. Months later, the mansion sells. Aid walks away from the mansion, the cameras, and the chaos. In his hands, a sealed envelope. Inside, Mama Obioma's secret savings. Not for herself, but for her grandchildren. Mama Obioma was never just the help. She was the heart of the home. And her son, the storm they never saw coming. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below. Would you forgive a family that tried to erase you? Or would you take everything they denied you?